In Power Automate, you can use Excel-related actions to perform operations with data, including reading, updating, deleting, or adding records to tables. However, when it comes to table metadata, the connector doesn't offer too much flexibility. For example, there is no built-in action to retrieve just the column headers from a table instead of its data. And one of the possibilities for getting these columns is to combine the XML and XPath expressions in a structure similarly to what we see in this flow. This is helpful for getting JSON object keys, and I'll leave a link in the video description to a blog where I explore this approach. But if you are working with Excel tables, there is a much easier strategy to get your column headers with a single action in Power Automate. So for this example, I'm working with this Excel table where I have 6 columns in total. And if I go to a previous flow execution adopting this XML and XPath strategy, you see that we get the same 6 columns plus this internal item ID, which is retrieved by default to Power Automate when reading data from Excel tables. This property doesn't actually correspond to a column created by the users, and you can remove it from the array by adding one extra step to this process. So to simplify things, we'll work with an Office script, and if you never heard about it, I'm leaving some relevant links to blogs and videos I created about this topic, but in a quick summary, you can imagine the Office scripts as Excel macros created with TypeScript that can be easily executed from Power Automate. So let's create this script together. Here in the Excel file, I'll just click the Automate tab, then I'll click New Script, and create in-code editor. Here you can enter your logic inside this function main. This is written in TypeScript programming language, and if you are not familiar with coding, don't worry because we already have a fully functional template available in the Office scripts gallery. This is a website maintained by me where you can find various examples of Office scripts for free, which you can use to automate your daily Excel work. Here I'll search for column headers, and I'll have these two options that would work for this task: the get column headers from all tables and the get column headers from single table. The names are self-explanatory, and I'll select the script from all tables for this example. Here you can find further information about this script, including a quick description, who's the author, and any videos or links demonstrating how to use this script. You also find its code, and I'll simply copy everything, come back to the code editor, and paste it. So before we test it, let's quickly see what's happening inside this script. And here we are expecting the user to provide a list of table names from where the column headers could be retrieved. This is an optional parameter and will be provided in Power Automate. And if there are no informed names, the script will just retrieve the columns from all tables in the workbook. Then inside the function main, the script first checks if the flow provided any table names or not. Next, it handles the scenario where no inputs were provided by the flow and no tables were found in the file, retrieving an empty array in this case. And if there are any matches, we'll get a logic to access each table, collect its name and the respective column headers, and finish by returning this data to Power Automate as an array of objects. So there's nothing else we need to do with this code. I'll just change its name to get columns from tables and save it. And at this point, this script is already available to be used by any other spreadsheets, so you won't need to repeat this process for each Excel file where you want to reuse it. And then back to Power Automate. Here, I'll just include another action at the end of this flow. I'll search for run script and select it. This is not a premium action, so you can still run it if you have a free Power Automate license. And here I'll just inform the Excel file where I want to run this data, which is the same from the list rows present in a table action. For the script, I'll select the one we just created. And then here, as an optional parameter, I could provide the name of all tables from where I want to get the column headers. For this example, I will just keep this input empty since it's optional and I want to get the column names from all tables in the file. So I can now save it, and I will now resubmit the flow from this other tab. So the flow runs successfully, and here at the run script outputs, we can find under the body result property this array of objects where each object has a name property identifying the table and a columns property containing the header of all respective columns. So this is great if you want to access the columns from multiple tables in a file, but if you just need the headers from one table, you can rely on the script get column headers from a single table, also available in the gallery. I have already added this other script to my Excel, so I'll just come back to the flow edit page and change it in the run script action. Here we also have a single parameter, and at this time it's a required one. It expects the name of the table from where the headers must be retrieved. And I'll just say leave underscore requests. I'll then save it. And back to the flow run page, I will resubmit it one more time. So here again, the flow ran successfully. And if you now go to the outputs, we'll find an array of strings containing all column headers. This is very similar to what we got with the XML XPath approach, but now you achieved the same result with only one action and without including the internal item ID, the full property.